and welcome to the 80th Annual McKay-Douglas Bonspiel, also known as the second edition of Two Lawyers Talking About Curling. I'm Erin Durba, and with me is Mike Shalhoub. Got to turn your mic on, Mike.
Mike forgot to turn the mic on. Thank you, Erin. Good evening, everybody. The feature sheet game tonight is between Philadelphia 1 and the Long Island Curling Club. The Long Island folks are very happy to be playing deep into the tournament. Rock's underway.
We've got two good teams here playing for Philadelphia. We have Arthur Willson as the skip with Zach Gary, Rich Hess, and Greg Danks.
And they've beaten me two out of the only two times I've played them, they've beaten us in this tournament.
Okay. And for Long Island, I can't read it from here, so Mike, you'll have to do that one.
Tim Klein, Danny Stesky, and I can't read Jack and Dan Gerlach.
Looks like Jack Glanzer. And we're underway. We have a Philadelphia stone on the back forefoot and nothing else in play, it looks like.
It should be a Long Island stone. Right? Oh, no, you're right.
Looks like the Long Island stone was taken out already. On sheet A, we have the conclusion of the previous draw. It's a tie game between Cape Cod and San Francisco.
And San Francisco got 4 to tie in the 7th end.
And it looks like they are sitting 1 or sitting 3 guarded, so they've got a good chance of winning this one. And on sheet C, we have Ardsley Park against Plainfield just getting underway.
And the Ardsley Park folks, Erin, as I understand it, they're not Ardsley members, but they are longtime members of the Ardsley family. Their parents played here, or they played here as kids. They live in the neighborhood, and they play here once a year at this tournament.
Well, that explains the name. We have yellow counting 2 here on sheet B, and it looks like we've got a takeout coming. So we remove one of the yellow stones. I think we're just going to see a draw in or maybe a guard from Philadelphia here. That is, I think, Rich Hess throwing. Oh, it looks like maybe he's throwing a takeout. And it looks like he made the shot. And yellow's counting 2 in the back of the house.
So who has hammer there? Is it Long Island? On sheet 2?
That's a good question. Well, it looks like yellow's been playing to the center, so I'm guessing that they do not have the hammer.
And on sheet 3, sheet C rather, sweeping into the house with the blue jacket is Bill Peskoff. Bill's a past U.S. senior champion, curled with some folks from this club, 2013. Okay, Long Island Rock underway. Looks like Tim wants it in the forefoot.
Looks like they're sweeping pretty hard on this one. Although they've got Dan Gerlach out there sweeping, and nobody sweeps better than him, so they might just get this one into the house. All 3 of them on it, and all the way to the forefoot. It's a good
Great
shot
sweeping,
right there.
but the sweep brothers on my team, Joe Pinella and Mike Spensieri, might disagree with that.
Well, that's true. You've got 2 of them.
I missed the finish on C, on A rather.
It looks to me like yellow won that one. So that was San Francisco with a great comeback win.
All right, yellow rock underway on B. Looks like he wants to hit the rock that was just thrown by Long Island, but it may be over curling. Yep, it's going to miss and go by and tap the one in the back of their yellow out of the back of the house.
So red's in a pretty good position here, Long Island guys. Counting 1. We're probably going to see a guard with that ice. Did we decide who has hammer?
No.
Let's see if I can get. It looks like there are 4 yellow stones in play, and this is the 4th red, so I think Long Island has hammer. They're sweeping hard on this one, too. It's just going to end up biting the top 12, so that's going to be 4th shot. We're probably going to see a takeout here on this red.
There's a couple of jam possibilities in the back.
Yep. Also some spectacular pants on the skip.
Norway comes to Ardsley.
Got another hard sweep coming here. And they are on the guard. But removing one of the yellows from the back of the house, so not a bad shot.
And guarding the red. Now the Long Island team has a different lineup setup than most of the teams here. Tim Klein's been in the house for the first 2 rocks, and he's skipping the team, but Danny Skteski is throwing last rock. So Tim's going to come throw vice skip rocks.
Interesting. You don't see a lot of that in club curling. You do see it occasionally at the competitive level. Maybe Tim just didn't want to sweep this weekend.
And isn't Skteski a past competitive curler too?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was.
Take your word for it. I think he's just going to try to draw another one in here. If he can count 2. He'd have the option of coming under or just leaving it open. Looks like he's going to come under the guard. And his front end apparently disagrees with the shot call, so that looks like they might be throwing another guard here.
So maybe they don't have hammer. Otherwise, think about splitting the house.
Well, this looks like their 5th rock, right? And yellow has already played 5. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty sure Long Island has hammer here, but throwing the guard.
Not trying to get in if they can.
No, it looks like they're
a little heavy.
Yeah, a little heavy, but it's a pretty good shot because now they're counting 2. It looks like he might have left a double, which I think is what we're going to see Philadelphia trying to play here. They'd have to hit the top red thin. Try to get them both out of there. The sweeper's called off, so they might like the line on this one. Just overswept a hair, it looks like. Missed that by less than a centimeter.
So you're not just a lawyer, you have tremendous eyes, since we're about 175 feet from where that spot is.
It looked pretty close to me. Plus, it sounds better if I said he missed it by a lot. That might be a little insulting, just saying. All right, I think we will see a guard here.
And I do like it when you talk metric, so it's all good.
It is a Canadian-centric sport, so the metric system is probably appropriate.
So you think Tim is coming in or just putting a center line guard?
The ice looks like he's guarding, but coming in wouldn't be bad either, I don't think, here. I hear the sweepers yelling that it's about the same, so it probably is going to end up in the house. Looks like it's a little bit wider than the first one.
This is where some of that directional sweeping might come into help. Yep. And actually, that's what they're doing.
And there they go. 2 guys on one side of the rock trying to sweep that guard into a good position, and it ends up in a pretty good spot. I'm not sure we could say the directional sweeping added much there, but they tried.
Maybe a centimeter.
I think we're going to see an attempted double off the top rock, or they might try to run in their own. Not a lot of options here for yellow without hammer. They've got to try to get a rock in there somehow.
Well, the run double's there, but got to be just right.
Yeah. Actually, you could make a run triple if you could throw it hard enough.
Well, as Matt Schneider would say, triple's there.
The triple is there. And it would leave you counting one, so. But it looks like we're going to see them run in the yellow, probably onto the top red, or maybe the back one. Back one is probably the better play. You might have a chance of getting shot. Just run that straight back.
Well, if you're going to wear these pants, you need to be able to make this shot.
Absolutely. The alternative philosophy might be if you're going to be a bad curler, you might as well look good doing it.
Well, that's my golf philosophy. Well, rock's underway.
No sweeping. Sweepers are right off this one, so it looks like we might end up angling that in. Here we go now.
It's close.
Nice shot. Red's still counting one, but it looks quite a bit better for yellow now. Second and third shot. And a rock that can be promoted out in front. Looked like that just needed to curl a little bit more. They clipped the front one, and that's why they ended up spilling all the way over to the 12-foot. If you let that curl a hair more, you end up right on that back red and stick around, I think. On sheet C, we have an awful lot of red rocks in the house. I'm counting 6. No, just 5 with a 6th one out in front. The good news is there is one red rock out of play, so the 8-ender is no longer a possibility.
Good, depending upon your point of view. With a packed warm room of 50 people or so, it would have been a lot of fun to see an 8-ender.
Well, it would have been a lot of fun. It also would have been just awful for the team that gave it up. So, and then they would have had video for it. Watch it every year on the anniversary.
And us talking about it. So Danny electing to go around instead of tap. Makes it a
looks
little
like
bit
he's
of
a little
draw.
heavy, and that's going right through the house. So we're probably going to see a draw here from yellow.
Draw or tap.
Yeah, if they just put it right in front of that red rock, freeze it or top 4, going to be in a good spot here. Although they might be looking to try to run something in. I think you just draw here, right? I guess you could tap.
Tap is okay.
Could tap. And that's what they're going to do?
If you draw and leave it on the button, you've got run for 3.
Yeah. I think you'd try to draw to the 4-foot just in front of that red. But it is looking a lot better for yellow than it was a couple of rocks ago. So
they didn't hang a score on sheet C. So I don't know what happened with the last rock.
I'm not sure who had hammer, actually. We do know that red scored because they're throwing the first rock on sheet C, but we don't know how many. Yellow rock coming down the sheet here, and the sweepers are going pretty hard on it. And it looks like it might be pretty good. Just a little bit too heavy, I think. And a little bit maybe overswept. It is not shot rock.
So I know that Gert Messing's team is playing in the first event finals tomorrow. Do you know who they are playing against?
I do not, but we do have the bracket here somewhere. Our producer, John, should know the answer to that question.
First event final, John? Gert's team. Oh, against a team here from St. Paul, Minnesota. One of the hot spots of curling in the U.S. That's Gert's team, I think. Yeah, but looking at the draw right, Gert Messing's team beat Matt Gallego's team in the semifinals. And the St. Paul team's Team Gartner with Peter Austin, Gary Mazzota, and George Austin. Peter and George are a father and son team from here at Ardsley, and they'll actually be competing in Club Nationals out in Fargo in a couple of weeks, as will the Messing team.
So this will be a warm-up event for them.
Pretty much.
Who knows? They might see each other again there at Club Nationals.
Well, George is a marvel. 70-something years old, playing front end, sweeping end to end.
And yelling the whole way. So it looks like Red played a takeout for 2.
So Long Island is up in the
up
feature
2-0.
game, 2-0.
And the score on C was a score of 5 for Red.
So they cut him down.
But it's club curling, so if Red can score 5, I bet you Yellow could too. So if you're rooting for Ardsley Park, don't despair just yet.
So this Bonspiel started Thursday with games at 5 o'clock. Games ran till starting at 10 on Thursday night, 10 last night, and there's a draw at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
So games have been from 8 to 10 the last couple of days, with the championship games tomorrow.
It's been a very long few days for our intrepid Bonspiel organizer, Joe Sablo. He's been working very hard to make this event a success.
And volunteers like you and others that have been serving good food and working and helping out.
Yep. All right, first rock in play here in N2, and it's in the house, so we're going to get a hit here from Philadelphia. The blank is on. This is Greg Danks, who I played against in quite a few 5 and under events, and he beat me every time. I did have one epic comeback against him, but he won it in the last end.
Well, he's quite a colorful character, right?
I used to call him my nemesis, my curling nemesis.
We played against him in Albany earlier this year, and one of my teammates, Matt Shiner, made a terrific run back that was unintended, run back take. And when Matt came into the house and Danker gave him a certain hand signal.
Oh.
With a big smile on his face.
He's a nice guy and fun to play against, which is what we want. The takeout was made, so nothing in the house. Second lead rock coming down the ice. It looks like this one is going to be in. In or through. And that'll be swept to the back 12, it looks like.
Yeah, well, with the sweepers following 2 meters behind, we figured it was heavy.
We can't do everything in metric. I'll get lost. Looks like we're going to get possibly a corner guard or maybe a draw from Greg Danks here.
With that ice.
The great thing about those pants is that even if you can't see the broom, if your eyesight is that bad, you at least know where the skip is.
We all just throw in the vicinity of the broom anyway.
Right. If you're within 2 or 3 inches of the broom, it's good. And this looks like it might be biting. It is biting. Second shot. We've got some rocks in play here. And we are also underway now in Sheet A. We've got Ardsley 2, which is Ray Ullmer's team, against Chicago, Aaron Horowitz. And they've just gotten started. Not their fault. It was the game before them that ran a little bit long. And this rock looks a little bit short. They're going to work really hard to get that over the hog line, and they have, so well done by the sweepers. Philly's going to come in behind that guard now. Try to get a few yellow rocks loaded up in the house, and they'll deal with that one in the back if and when they have to.
And Team Horowitz is another father-son team. Jonathan, with the blue sweatshirt and the beard, is an Ardsley member, but from Chicago. And his father, Aaron, is on the team, and I think two other guys from Chicago.
The vice is Andy Ness, so he is definitely a Ardsley Long Island guy.
And since I played them Thursday, I should have remembered that. So 2 Chicago,
I won't
2
tell
New
him.
Yorkers. You won't tell. It's
But
between the two
one
of
of
us.
our audience might. I don't know. We probably have 2 or 3 people listening who might tell him. 7. Wow. And feel free to post things in the comments. Just remember, we're doing this for free, so don't be too insulting. I don't know. Mike's got a smile on his face. Maybe he's getting paid.
Not getting paid. I'm just thinking about the insulting presidential candidate, so you never know what you might hear.
Yes. If you're Donald Trump and you're watching this game, please don't post in the comments. We've got another very light rock here, but it is over on its own.
It picked.
And it lost its handle, and it's going wherever it feels like going.
Or burned.
I picked or burned or short of the hog line. I'm not sure which. It's like it might have been coming up short, and they kicked it. But either way, we've got red still shot in the back of the house, and yellow still trying to get behind that red guard. This one looks like it's got plenty of weight on it. You might see them try to come down to that red in the back if they have the line for it.
I think it's off that line by now.
Yeah, they needed to sweep it before that if they were going to do that. So going right through the house. That's one of those moments where, as a skip, you really wish your sweepers had told you exactly how heavy it was.
But Tim is too nice a guy to even think that. Me, on the other hand.
What's that?
I said, me, on the other hand, I'd be thinking that.
All right, so we're going to get another attempt to draw behind this red guard, this time by the Ardsley team, or Long Island team, excuse me. This might be one of those ends where the first person behind the guard wins. On sheet C, it looks like yellow's got at least 1 rock in. And on sheet A, we have yellow first and third shot. Yellow is Ardsley and red is Chicago. Well, here comes the red rock, and they are going to hit their own, but they're still shot, so no harm done. There's an awful lot of weight on that one.
Still shot and a whole rock closer.
Yeah. So that would be how many centimeters, Mike?
I don't know. 2.54 centimeters to an inch. That's all I know.
2.54 centimeters to an inch. So how many inches wide is a rock? 10, 12? 12 inches? I don't know. We probably got a few engineers here in the house who could tell us.
Shiner was behind us, but he's moved.
Oh, I didn't even know he was lurking back there. All right, we've got red now, or yellow trying to draw into the house now. This one looks like it's got a little bit less weight on it, so it should
nice
settle
weight.
down.
T-line, more or less.
A little heavy still, but it looks like it might sit down in time. And it will. So T-line in the 4-foot. Looks like they are well under that guard.
Our research department is looking up the size of the stones.
Oh, good.
It's a department of one, yet another volunteer.
Well, I see Seth Altman standing over there doing nothing, so he could help us out. Seth, how wide is a curling stone? How wide is a curling stone?
How wide is a curling sheet?
Stone, a rock.
No, that's a question. From my understanding, there'd be no math on this.
Okay. Seth is a history teacher, so he refuses to do math.
He chose that because he wanted a science where there were no right answers.
So, between two lawyers and a history teacher, there is absolutely no mathematical prowess in this broadcast.
Well, do you remember your geometry, Aaron? Because it's a maximum circumference of 36 inches.
Well, the circumference is, I believe, the width of the stone. So.
No.
No. Oh, it's 36 inches around. I do not remember my geometry. Yes. What is the diameter? Well, what?
I used to say you can't trust Wikipedia, but that's where we're looking.
I would think Wikipedia ought to know the width of a curling stone. Well, if we have any mathematicians, could you possibly tell us if the circumference is 36 inches, what's the diameter?
Pi r squared, right? Well, that's the area.
Yeah. Pi r equals. Okay. We're going to have somebody work out that math for you, and we'll get back to you in a few ends.
Can I suggest someone just go out with the tape measure?
Seth, go get a tape measure. Go get a tape measure. Our on-ice reporter is going to go out and investigate the width of the curling stone.
Seth, who we've been talking to, is another one of the great volunteers that's been working here the last couple of days, working the ice, helping with food, helping clean the place.
Seth was downstairs helping out with the steak dinner tonight. So if you're not here at the club, you missed a great steak dinner.
And our research department is now working with an online calculator trying to figure this all out.
Isn't that what I said? 10 to 12 inches. Apparently we've got 11 and a half.
Well,
The circumference of 36 inches.
okay. Okay, so it looks like the diameter of the rock, 11.4591559 inches.
11 and a half inches. Red is still sitting there in the 4 foot. Looks like, but the guards are now gone. Or it looks like they're gone. Tim's kind of in the way. We've got red drawing into, or hitting to sit 3, it looks like.
Team Chicago's sitting shot on A, getting ready to put up a guard of some sort.
Sweeper's going really hard on this one. Looks like they have this.
Made nicely, rolls
Nice
behind
shot.
the guard.
So red is sitting 3.
And their first skip rocks for
Yep.
Philadelphia on sheet B.
Yellow's going to have to hit their way out of this. They've got no guards in front. They can make a double here. They'll still have a shot at a 2-ender.
Triple is not there, I don't think. Not for our level
The triple
of
is
curler
always
anyway.
there.
Triple's always there.
But in this case, I don't think it's there.
Need Mike McEwen or Kevin Cooey to come in and make the shot.
True. Kevin Cooey could definitely make that shot. Rachel Homan might be able to make it too.
No, she could actually come here since she's not up at the Scottish.
She's
this
got
week.
nothing else better to do, I hear. So she might be watching. She might be one of the 7 people. 4 people.
We've went from 7 to 8 and now 6, so I
Oh.
guess we're driving the audience away.
Well, I think the long discussion about the width of a curling stone probably lost us a few viewers.
So the attempt at the double is on the way.
Take out. The sweepers are going on this one. On and off it, so that might mean they're close.
No, they shouldn't have been on it at all.
Oh.
That line really, really hangs.
Well, they got one. And the other 2 rocks are in the back of the house, so we'll see what red wants to do here. Sitting first and second shot, so they can afford to draw in here if they want. Try
So-
to make it a tough draw for 1 for yellow.
So it looks like Danny wants it in the 4 foot just left of the pin in front of the other guard, the back guard, the rear guard.
We have Red's still sitting 2 on sheet A, and it looks like Ray's going to try a tough double here. He's going to have to throw it pretty hard, I think, to make that. And on sheet C, yellow took 2, so it's now 5-2, clawing their way back into that game.
Well, Ray should definitely be able to get rid of one of those anyway. Rocks underway on A and B.
Looks pretty heavy for a draw here on sheet B, but they've got backing. So
And sweeping hard on A. I think it's on the guard.
yes.
And rolling another red in. Nope. Spun by.
We've got 3 rocks in the back of the house on sheet B, and they're all red. So Philadelphia is going to have to draw for 1. Got all sorts of backing, though, so shouldn't be too difficult a shot, but you never know.
And over on sheet C in the second end, yellow got 2.
Yep.
So it's now 5-2. I'm not sure who has hammer on A, but it looks like he's putting up a guard.
It looks like there's still 1 yellow rock left to play. Or it did before that thing popped up. Here comes the draw on sheet B. The sweepers are kind of on and off it, so
Weight looks
weight
okay.
must be close. And now they're going pretty hard. And that looks like it's going to settle up right there in the 4-foot, so that's a score of 1 for yellow. 2-1 after 2.
In favor of Long Island.
And on sheet A, I think it looks like Ray's going to have another shot at that double. I think even if he makes it, it might jam on the other yellow, but he's got kind of has to make it just to score, I think.
Yeah, looks like there's enough space on the overhead for him to make the double and stay and maybe get one. That one
Yeah,
that's on the button may jam on the yellow.
I think it's just a score of 1 if he makes it. There's no guards out in front anymore. The guard that was just thrown, it looks like over curled, so he's got plenty of space. He's got to get just to the inside of this rock, I think. Sweepers are off it. And just didn't curl enough. And it did jam on the back, so it looks like a score of 2 for red.
So, Aaron, I just counted. There are 11 monitors or screens in front of us. I feel like we're in one of those NBC Curling Night in the USA production trucks.
I bet you they have more than 8 viewers, though, being a national network. 7 viewers?
You know, we're up to 7.
Okay. I should call my mom and have her tune in. We'd get up to 8.
Well, last time we tried this with my dad, he wasn't able to figure it out and tried to call me on air to
We
get
could
it
have put
set
him
up.
on. We could have had a guest caller.
All right, Dad. So if you're one of those, actually, no, my cell phone is not in my pocket, so don't bother calling. If Erin has hers, I'll give you her number.
And I will definitely put you on speaker and connect you to the broadcast. And number 3 is just about underway here on sheet B. Actually, it is underway. There is a red rock in the back of the 12. I can't tell if it's...
It looks like it's counting.
It is counting.
And up on the monitors in front of us, it looks like at the Scotties, the semifinal game is going to get started between Team, Northern Ontario and Team Canada.
So if you have ESPN3, you can listen to us and watch the Scotties at the same time. Or you could just watch the Scotties. It's up to you.
Well, do you think that we sound like Russ Howard and Cheryl Bernard?
I bet you that Russ Howard and Cheryl Bernard don't have law degrees. That's all I'm saying.
But I think Jennifer does, though, doesn't
Jennifer Jones is a lawyer. I don't know how she has time to be a lawyer because she's curling all over the place, but apparently she does.
And she's a mom, and her husband's a competitive curler.
Right. In a different province than she is, so
True.
I'm not entirely sure how that works.
You know, I was down at the U.S. National Championships a couple weeks ago in Jacksonville, and after the women's championship game, which Team Brown, Erica Brown's team won, one of the nice, heartwarming scenes was seeing the players' kids running up to their moms after they won the championship, and instead of hugging each other, they were hugging their kids at the end of the game. It was really, really a neat scene.
That's terrific. I think we do have quite a few moms at the Scotties. We probably don't have too many moms on the ice here at the McKay-Douglas since it is a men's spiel. But as Mike pointed out, we do have quite a few father-son teams. Let's see, we've got red rock on the button, and it's now been removed by yellow, and they're going to roll out. So that rock at the edge of the 12-foot is still the counting stone. And you may think that that rock is irrelevant, but I did see a game at the Kaiser that was tied up on a biter. So let's not count that rock out just yet.
And I think red does not have hammer, so that's an important rock if they want to prevent a blank end.
Right. They're going to try to draw behind this yellow guard now. The sweepers think this is heavy, I think. Backing off it at the hog line is usually a pretty good sign that they think it's through the house.
And Barry Rosenblum on sheet A just threw a nice draw to the basically going to be T-line. Should be shot there. Another one of the father-son teams, although his son Matt is one of our young and growing star players, but he's not on the ice, but he's sitting here in the warm room watching his dad play.
That red rock ended up wide open, the back of the 4-foot, so yellow's going to go right after it.
They look wide, may not
It's a
get
little
it.
wide.
Well,
Well,
they
he's
get
gonna
it,
get a piece
but
of it.
still.
And red now has 2 biters, about as far apart as you can possibly be. Maybe not quite, but pretty close.
We can do some geometric analysis.
Let's not try that again. First, we'd have to research the width of the house, and then, I don't know.
Well, we do have our excellent research assistant, John Schuster, sitting next to us. And he is the John Schuster, not the one that curls.
Well, he does curl.
Right, but not at the elite level. But we say that our John Schuster is the John Schuster.
And this red rock, it looks like it's going to come up another biter. Oh, yep, another biter. So red now has 3 biters. And yellow's going to have to try to get a rock in here somewhere. I think they're probably just going to draw behind all of this.
It's actually almost a perfect equilateral triangle, looking up at the overhead monitor. Which, oh no, it is on your screen.
Yellow does not have hammer. So all of those red rocks biting around the 12-foot could be a little dangerous for them. On sheet A, we have yellow counting, looks like 2.
And a double on the way, attempted double on the way.
It's a pretty tough double. The yellow rock they have to hit first is well under cover, so they might be just going for the one that's out there in the 4-foot, and it looks like they're going to get a piece of it. and jam on the back red. So yellow still counting 2. And on sheet C, that looks like a mess. But we've got red counting, it looks like 3 or 4. A little hard to tell from here.
Looks like 2 from here, maybe 3. But there are 1, 2, 3. There's 4 red rocks, 5 red rocks in the house, 1 red rock biting. A lot of rocks in play.
Yeah. And a lot of guards out in front, too. But if yellow can ever get one into that mess, they'll be in pretty good shape. Not much change in the situation here on B. Still 3 red biters and no yellows in the house.
So it looks like Tim is trying to draw around to the 4-foot behind the red guard. The Norwegian pants would be distracting.
I could see where they'd be a problem if you started moving around while you were shooting. Tim seems to be completely unperturbed by them, though. Sweepers are off this one, so it's either there on its own or it's a little bit heavy. I think that's
that may be
going
all the
through.
way through.
That is not a biter, so still 3 red rocks in play and no yellows. Red made a nice hit on sheet A, so they are now counting.
And on C, they've been discussing the situation for quite some time. And it looks like they've elected to hit.
I think
raise
yellow
the
actually
red.
threw a rock. I'm not entirely certain what happened to it, but red looks like they're going to draw in here again. And in
On
our
sheet
feature
B.
game, this is looking
Really,
like
really
it's
nice shot.
going to come right in there.
Just
Just
touched
out in
it.
the open, yeah. I'm not sure if it ticked or if it just came up a little bit short. But it is counting, and they'll have to go after it.
Depending on where he hits it, may jam on the red that's biting, and the back left of the house is where looking at it.
Looks like they put a wig on it. And here comes the takeout from Tim. Sweepers are all over this one. Sweeping really hard.
I think they may end up making it.
Now they're off it, so it looks like he's got a piece.
Is there a jam?
And just underneath, so great shot by Tim. Still 3 biters and no yellows in the house, so they're going to have to try that draw under again. And looks like Ray is setting up pretty well for a 2 under here, if he can make a few takeouts on sheet A.
Well, our viewership is up to 9.
Oh, welcome to the 2 viewers who tuned out during the geometric discussion but have now ventured back online. A lot of discussion here on sheet B. It looks like they're going to try to draw from the other side now. I guess he didn't like the draw path the first time they tried it, so we'll try it out here on the right side of the sheet. Got a little bit of backing there, too, if you're a little bit wide or a little bit heavy.
A little backing, and the staggered guards give him some protection,
Right.
even if he doesn't get to the 4-foot.
And if he crashes on anything, it'll be his own yellow rock, so that helps, too. Oh, little bit more discussion. I think the front end has jumped in and offered some opinions.
And on sheet A, it looks like they're just attempting a draw freeze to the yellow rock. Try to prevent Ray's team from getting 2. Weight looks pretty nice.
And that came up a little bit heavy there on sheet A, so it looks like Ray's going to have a shot to sit 3. Just play a little soft weight takeout and try to roll away from the yellow that's under cover. And I think they went back to the original draw path on sheet B.
The Ray shot's a little bit of a tricky path going out towards the wall that way. Depending on weight, it may not curl.
And this one's looking heavy on sheet B, and they're going to sweep that through the house.
Definitely have the heavies on sheet B this end.
Yep.
Ice is speeding up, third end now. Pebbles broken down a bit.
They did scrape a couple of games ago, so it might be a little bit faster than the last game they played. That can catch people out.
Some directional sweeping on A. They've got Barry sweeping it to try to keep it straight.
Yep, and it looks like he's going to
take
hit
his own out.
So that's a tough one on sheet A. Red is now counting 1. We're going to see a guard here. And in our feature game, I think we're going to see a red draw. At some point, somebody's going to get behind that guard. And here comes the draw. The sweepers don't think it's light yet.
It doesn't look that heavy.
Well, now they think it's light.
Well, even if it overcurls, a little tap on that red is not a bad thing.
Well, all they need is a biter. It looks like they're going to get it in the house, certainly. I'm not sure if it's going to make it quite past that guard. Just a little tick and a roll off, so red is now counting 4 with hammer.
And the guard is underway on sheet A.
I think they're trying to sweep it to top 12, though it looks like it might come up a little short, but even just a guard is fine over there. Swept into a great spot. They're out counting the biter. They're guarding the shot rock.
Yeah, I think you'd like to be counting 2 if you could. Ray's electing to go the other way now.
He's going to try to make the double here, I think, and hope to score 2.
The first one curled quite a bit towards the wall.
Well, he's going to throw away from the wall now, so taking a little bit less ice, and we'll see what happens. So not quite as much discussion here on sheet B. I think there's really only one shot. You've got to get a yellow rock behind something. So he's going to draw the other side now and try to get under cover. Not quite sure what happened on sheet C last end, but it looks like red probably scored at least one more, maybe more than that.
Oh, we have a fall. Hopefully nobody hurt. No, he's not hurt. Double jams. And it's hard to tell from here who's shot.
Looks like it's probably one red. And if you're watching the Scotties, Canada is sitting 3 with hammer. Here comes the yellow rock, and they're sweeping awfully hard to try to get this by, and it's going to crash on the guard. It looks like it was just light. So red is going to have an open draw for 5.
Boy, everything this end on B has either been light or heavy.
Sometimes it's tough to find that draw weight. If the ice is different speed than they've played in their last game, it might take an end or two. And that was a score of 1 for Chicago on sheet A. Here comes the draw. All they need is a piece of the 12-foot, so this is all on the sweepers now.
He's light.
They're sweeping it pretty hard.
And it's light and tight. I think it's only going to be 4.
Well, they're still working on it, though. Never give up when you're a sweeper. All they need to do is tick that top one, and they'll roll into the house. So let's see what happens. It looks like the sweepers did a great job on that one. They may just have gotten it to bite.
By 3 millimeters.
I think that's less than 3 millimeters. I think they might actually put a biter bar to that one. Oh, I guess they've agreed on it. That's too bad. I wanted to see them use the biter bar. So I'm going to guess that was a score of 5 for Long Island. On sheet A, we've got red counting 3, but yellow just made a really nice hit and roll. And it looks like yellow is now sitting 1.
They haven't hung the score on sheet B yet.
I'm guessing 5.
Looked like it.
That is not a biter right there.
It is not. Aaron's looking up at the TV cast from Canada, from TSN, of the Scotties. Again, Team Canada versus Northern Ontario for the right to play in the Scotties Championship game tomorrow.
First rock from Long Island here in the 4th end is in the house. Yellow's going to have to get some guards up there. They're going to need to score some points in a hurry.
They do, but they're actually calling the shot. The called shot is to draw down to the red in the back of the 4.
All right. We'll see if that works out.
I'm with you. I would ignore it and put a corner guard.
Put corner guards. On sheet C, there was a big score for red in the 3rd end. It's now 9-2. Big sweep here on sheet B. I think they might end up with a guard, whether they wanted one or not.
Even though it's a center guard, they're better off with a guard of some kind.
Gonna have something to hide behind. It looks like it's going to come off the center line, so it's not guarding the red rock, which is good. Red's going to come right in here, top 4, put some pressure on them.
They still haven't hung the score for sheet B. But we do think it's 5, so the score is probably 7-0.
That's my guess. And on sheet A, it is 3-0 red. But yellow is now counting. Not sure what the call is here. I think you'd just draw in. On sheet B, the red rock slipped a little deep, so we're going to see a draw in behind cover here by yellow. So Mike stepped out for a break. We're going to see if we can get a special guest commentator for you. Plenty of people lurking around here in the warm room who want to get their voices on the webcast. Yellow rock came into the top 12, not quite as deep as they wanted, but at least it's in play, and partially buried. We're going to probably see a peel here from Long Island. And here comes the peel. It looks like it's a little bit wide, so they may end up clipping their own in the back, and they do. But Red's still counting one undercover, and Philadelphia's got their work cut out for them, try to get some rocks in play.
Looks like the call's a draw on B to the T
Yep.
line.
Looks like they're just going to try to draw in behind the yellow rocks. Try to set something up here.
And on sheet B, Rob's takeout attempt is on the way. Ray is waving his hands in the air, so apparently not a good attempt.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Yellow was counting one, and they chose not to draw behind the guards. So it looks like Red is now counting two, and Yellow's got a biter in the back if they can ever get rid of those red rocks. On our sheet, it looks like the draw was a little bit heavy, but it actually worked out pretty well for them. They chipped that red rock to the back four, and they have two yellows still in play. So if they can get rid of that red rock at some point, they'll be able to score some points.
I like Tim's call here. Get rid of the counting rock. Even if you spill out, that's fine.
Yeah, for Long Island with a 6-point lead, it's all about removing rocks and preventing the big end.
By leaving it there, gives him something to draw to later in the end.
So we're going to see a takeout here from Yellow. I'm thinking they're going to hope to roll under a little bit. It looks like Yellow's trying to build an end here on sheet C. They are counting, it looks like 2 right now, with a couple of other rocks in play. The takeout is made on sheet B, but they rolled, I think that might be a biter.
Can't tell, and those bright pants are in my way of looking directly on the ice.
Well, on the TV screen, it looks like it could very well be biting. We don't have a great angle from the camera, but it's possible.
All right, well, we have another announcer coming to take my spot, Mike Spensieri, fellow I play with. He's a lot more entertaining and funny than me, and I'm sure that he and Eric are going to have a good time.
And this ends the 2 lawyers talking about curling. Now you've got 1 lawyer and a day trader talking about curling. Sheet B. So Long Island looks like they're going to draw behind the staggered yellows here. They're already counting 1, so not a lot of urgency, and they do have that 6-point lead. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, how are you? I've decided to break my gambling ways and do some commentary on curling. What a fantastic sport.
It is a fantastic sport, and in addition to the McKay-Douglas, we have a bunch of TV screens up here that are showing the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
Well, they got 3 guys sweeping this thing, and it looks like they're getting it to the top 4 behind the
It
guards.
looks like it was a great sweep by those Long Island boys.
Gonna go out on a limb and call that an excellent shot.
They grow those sweepers big out on Long Island, don't they?
They grow everything big on Long Island.
All right, Yellow's going to try to get a rock under here. And on sheet A, it looks like Red is counting 1. I think Ray can get a piece of that yellow and drive it back onto the red if he wants to.
I concur. Yellow red works real nice for yellow on
I
sheet
think
A.
so. He's got to score some points, so that looks like the best way to count too.
Yellow sails right out the back there. Tough break for Bucks County on sheet B. That shot accomplished nothing.
Maybe he should change his pants. What do you think?
I like those pants. I also like a guard for Long Island, and I think they do too, and I think they're going to get it done.
I think so. And with those sweepers, I think they can get it there. Trying to get a look at sheet C, but I think you have a better view of it than I do. They kicked all the rocks away, so we'll have to wait and see.
They just finished it in, but I get an excellent view of Valetutto skating away. It also looks like in the back somebody is winning at the gambling endeavors that I lost at. Somebody may have indeed shut the box.
I'm not clear on exactly what was going on over there, but it
Shut the
sounds like
box.
a boss.
Shut the
Okay.
box is going on.
Shut the box. Here comes the guard from Tim Klein on sheet B. Sweepers seem pretty relaxed, so I don't think it's light. Or they have great confidence in their sweeping abilities, one or the other.
Looks a little tight to that guard, but I think they'll be all right.
Well, it looks like it's probably going to end up in the top 12, maybe just biting. Oh, right behind that guard, so that was a pretty good shot.
Dastardly.
It's not a guard, but it's in a great spot.
Dastardly play by Red.
I think if
I've
you're
just-
yellow, you're going to have to start running back some guards at some point.
I've just learned that Red is actually winning 7-1 right now. So, yeah, they're looking good.
They are looking very good. They had a 5-ender last end.
I missed that while I was trying to shut that box.
There were an awful lot of biters in play. Biter after biter after biter.
I'm sad that I missed it. Although I can see why they were looking for a replacement commentator for this match.
Here comes a draw on sheet B. Sweepers seem to like it. Just guiding it in. So a little tap on those yellows. Red is still counting 2.
I heard that John Danks, the lead for the Bucks County team on sheet B, likes it rough.
I think his first name is Greg.
Right. John Danks is the pitcher.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Very easily confused. He doesn't like it that rough, but Greg Danks, on the other hand, he's a rough customer.
I heard you had an encounter with him earlier today.
Let's not get into that, Erin.
Okay. Is that not fit for our broadcast audience to hear?
I believe I've already crossed over that line.
All right, so another guard I think is going to be on the way here from Long Island. And on sheet A, red is still counting 1 and yellow is still second shot.
Yes, they tried that yellow-red that we suggested earlier, but he was wide on it and connected with neither of the stones.
Okay, well, it looks like he's going to try it again. It's always nice to have a second try at the same shot.
I didn't see the other teams miss, but I can assume it happened.
And this one is a lot lighter. This guard is a lot lighter than the first attempt, but again, those sweepers from Long Island are a talented bunch. I think we might see a run here from yellow. Get enough weight on that, might be able to remove some stones.
I concur.
So Raybo has got the shot underway here on sheet A. Sweepers are jogging along, so it's not narrow. Looks like they missed the sweep call.
I disagree.
Or
that
it
was
picked.
narrow.
I think it was narrow. Okay.
It was narrow, and they missed the sweep call, and they crashed the guard. These things happen in curling.
They do. So that's going to be 1 red, or 2 red.
Looks like just 1 red on A.
Here comes the heavyweight takeout here on sheet B. And they are on the guards. but not a terrible result. Gets another yellow in the house. There's one rock left to play for each skip.
Yellow's going to need a tremendous shot on B to try to make this a competitive match. It looks like they're going deeper into a hole that is already quite deep.
I agree. And I think Long Island has just got an easy guard here. Good shot at taking 2. On sheet B, the draw from red went pretty deep. So I think we're going to have a third try at this run.
It appears sheet A is the only sheet that's giving us interesting curling action. We have borderline double-digit leads on both B and C. However, sheet A remains a 3-stone contest.
And if this shot is made, it could be a 3-2 game.
Let's see what Rambo Ray has to say about that.
He looks pretty determined from here.
I concur.
On sheet B, we've got the Philadelphia boys trying to line up the hit here. I think those yellows are angled at least onto that top red. I'm not sure you can get both of them.
Getting one here and cutting it down wouldn't be awful if they were trying to stabilize this ship.
We're currently being photographed by Bonspiel photographer Stephanie Lee. Hi, Stephanie.
And it looks like Raybo put a brick up.
Ooh.
And that's going to be one red there.
Come up light?
Nope, just wide, never came back in time, and crashed the outside stone instead of hitting the one he was intending.
Okay.
Not
so
too far off the mark, but unfortunately far enough off the mark for a steel red.
So 4-0 on sheet A. Here comes the takeout here on sheet B. I think they're going to be throwing it pretty hard. Try to remove some red granite.
I imagine Wilson's going to put some pepper on that. Looks pretty good.
Sweepers aren't touching it. It's going to make contact. And there goes. Oh, look at that.
And would you
what
look
a
at
shot.
that?
That is a 2 for yellow. A really great shot.
That was an excellent shot. We were thinking he might cut him down to 1 with a good shot. He ended up taking 2 for yellow. We might have a game here on B.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it was going to come onto that back red, but apparently it did. And on sheet C, it looks like we have another pretty big score. It's 10-2 right now. So yellow's going to have to get some guards up and some rocks in play to come back there too.
It appears the raffle is beginning as well.
Oh, it's about to get very noisy in here.
I hope I win something, Erin.
What is your? What did you put your tickets in for the raffle?
Booze.
Booze.
Also, other boozes.
Somehow I'm not surprised by that.
Nor should you be. My proclivity for booze is well known in the curling circles.
You are remarkably sober right now, or at least doing a very good impression of it.
They discounted the beers so significantly for this month's Bonspiel that I've been drinking it instead of liquor, and thusly am sober.
And you have a 10 o'clock game tonight, so.
Another good reason to be on my feet.
All right, so yellow has gotten their guard up here. They're going to have to try to steal pretty much every end for the rest of the game, I think. But it is 7-3 now, so that's an improvement. Red looks like they're just going to draw into the house. And those strong Long Island sweepers are working hard on this one.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit too hard.
Play to the rings from here on out is basically going to be Red's strategy. Stay defensive, make yellow play hits, don't leave stones in play that yellow can use to get an advantage.
Yellow's going to get another center guard up. They're clearly going to go hard for the steal here.
I haven't won anything yet in the raffle.
You'll know if Mike wins the raffle. There'll be a lot of booing going on in the background, I think.
They might be saying boo earns.
They might.
though.
They might. A lot of Simpsons fans here. So here comes Ginger Danks' second guard. Just a light clean from the sweepers, and now they're going to put a little muscle into it.
Another fun fact about Greg Danks, he prefers to be the little spoon instead of the big spoon, from what I hear.
We're not going to ask how Mike knew that.
He told me.
He told you. You never know what you're going to learn at a Bonspiel.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Long Island's just going to draw to the open side. It's a pretty good strategy here with Hammer. Get some rocks in the house.
I would go so far as to say that anything 2 or more from Long Island here would put this match in a stranglehold.
This rock is curling pretty hard, but it looks like it'll end up in play, just biting.
Oh, that's a great spot.
We all know how biters worked out for Long Island a couple of ends ago, so not a bad place to put it.
I didn't see it myself, but I've heard the stories, and the scoreboard tells a tale.
So we've got a draw coming in here from Philadelphia. Try to get one probably behind that red if they can. Oh, looks like they're calling for a top 12.
These guys are not in good shape with this setup. They put up good center guards, but that red is buried nicely behind them.
I think they're going to try to get another center guard up there and hopefully be able to tap it up later or draw behind it later.
Yeah, or maybe even a freeze down to that red that they could hit later.
It's also a pretty good option. Depends all depends on the weight of the stone. Sweepers are not touching it yet.
I'm thinking back house or more here.
Sweeping it now, maybe just to get it out of the way. So it's second shot, back 4. It's not a terrible place to put it. If red comes in there, they can freeze right back on it and maybe be in a good spot to steal. And red is going to come in.
I still have not won anything in the raffle.
I did hear that Shiner won something. And you know, Nicole is back there picking the tickets, so if you don't win, you know who to blame.
I think she's just calling out the winners. We're doing each ticket picked by a different person system, which is fair.
That's true. It is Gudrun.
Because Nicole knows how I bend my tickets and would literally pick them every time if she could.
And it is poor sportsmanship to cheat at the raffle.
Well, you have to put a small bend in it so it doesn't stick to other tickets. Just don't make it obscene. Raffle strategy for you listeners out there. Keep it in mind in the future. A small bend before you drop it in so it doesn't get flushed to other tickets and lost in the shuffle.
And you heard it here first. How to Win the Raffle by Mike Spensieri.
Who hasn't won anything yet, by the way?
On sheet A, it looks like red is still doing pretty well. They are counting 1 and 2 without Hammer. Well, it's a pretty good draw there from Bucks County. It just ticked off that red rock, but they are now counting. And there's a possibility of a jam here if Long Island tries to hit this one.
Yellow's not setting up too bad here. They still have a long road to hoe, but they're setting things up decently.
Here comes the takeout from Long Island. Sweepers are off it. Might need to curl a little bit to avoid that jam.
I think they're good here. It's going to poke it right through the hole.
Yeah, nice shot. So yellow's going to try that draw again. They're going to try a freeze on that top red. They must have been listening to Mike's suggestion earlier. Well, now they're thinking about it and they're changing their mind. They're going to try one or the other. You have handshakes on sheet C.
And rightfully so. They brought out the big stick, that Plainfield team, and applied it not so gently
Firmly.
to the Ardsley Park guys.
And this yellow rock does not look heavy.
Sweepers are all over it.
Danks is working really hard on this one. I think they want to make sure this doesn't overcurl. You want to leave it out in front where you can use it later, but maybe they'll get a little tick off. Maybe not. It's still not terrible. They still got places to draw if they need to. If you're Long Island, you're just going to try to come top 4 here behind cover.
Even a guard here is not a terrible scenario, or top 12 blocking up real estate. I mean, you don't really have to score a lot here to make this match a done deal if you're Long Island.
And surprisingly, Philadelphia has not hung the score for the last end.
They want to leave it a surprise for the viewers, but we all know it's 7-3.
And I'm pretty sure that our producer, John, put that one into the scoreboard, so no secrets here. And he's going to show you right there. He's right on the ball, John. And if you have any questions for him, he will go ahead and Google them for you. He's a nice guy like that.
And the inventor of the cotton gin, Eli Whitney, has won a raffle prize.
Really?
That's correct.
I didn't know Eli was here today.
He
I hear
is.
he's a terrific curler.
And he is a gigantic man.
So that Long Island guard is just ticked off and rolled off to the side.
Literally 6'11".
6'11".
Possibly 7'3". I haven't measured him, but he's up there.
All right. So here's a chance for Philadelphia to draw one in there. If they can bite the button here behind cover, they'll be in a pretty good position to steal.
They could run back that yellow on the center line, too, if they were so inclined, but clearly they're not inclined to do such yet.
Sweepers are going pretty hard on this one. It looks like might be light. Well, they're off it now.
Looks like it's coming right through the hole.
Doesn't
Let's see
look
where it
like
stops.
To me. Looks like this
Might
might
be
end
right
up
on the
just
pin.
absolutely perfectly. So that is a terrific shot from Zach Geary.
Covering the top part of the button. That's where you'd like that stone.
Really couldn't do much better than that. So we're going to see, I think, Long Island try to draw in, maybe a little heavy draw and tap that back a bit if they can.
Yes, this isn't shaping up so well for Long Island, but draw down to that yellow even to make sure no more than a steal 1 happens isn't the end of the world for them. And if they could move that yellow stone a little bit too, well, that's great.
Yeah, with a 4-point lead, you don't need to make yourself crazy. You can just hold them to 1, take the hammer into the next end.
Let's see what Tim Klein can do with this.
And on sheet A, yellow's got some rocks in play, but some work to do if they're going to score this end. And here comes the draw from Tim. It does not look light. Sweepers are off it. Looks like it might be a little wide, too.
And it's going to be tight on that outside guard.
Looks like we're just going to see a tick, and oh, no, look at that sneak
it's
right
clean
by.
past it, but indeed is too heavy.
And no, just right by it.
Straight out the back with no contact of anything.
So now a great opportunity for Bucks County. They can just follow their first one down and freeze right on it. Could have a score, too.
I still don't hate running that yellow back that's on the center line there. If they could
Try to count
successfully
3.
pull that off, they could be sitting 3. And even if not, they could open it up to maybe take a piece of that red later.
Well, the only thing I don't like about it is they don't have hammer, and if you run that, your shooter's probably going to spill off, and the front's going to be open, so that would give Long Island a shot for 1.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, but I'm thinking desperation mode here, and I'm looking outside the box. But you're right. A steal 1 here is a good step in the right direction, and if they opened up that middle, that wouldn't be too good for things.
And if they just freeze on their own rock here, they could steal 2. It looks like they're tapping the 12-foot, but you got to get another one under there.
Brandy, that's like one of the last prizes.
I still see a lot of alcohol over there on the table. I think you're all right.
There were like no tickets in that brandy.
Well, you didn't win it, so.
Clearly I did not. I don't even like brandy.
We're being photographed again, so that's why we're being quiet.
We don't actually have to be quiet while we're being photographed, you know.
Well, you have to pose.
And that I did.
Oh, I know you did. All right, so here comes the Yellow Rock. I think they just called for a guard, and it looks like it's going to be a guard.
Didn't, that's what they're getting.
And it looks like it might be over curling. And it has over curled. I really think you needed to come in there.
I would imagine that must have been the call, but I don't know.
Well, it looked like they were tapping the 12-foot. Well, maybe they're happy with a steal of one, and they'll just dig their way out 1 point at a time. On sheet A, we have yellow counting 1, and it looks like red is lining up a run back here. It is partially guarded, though, so this is a very difficult shot.
Looks pretty fully guarded to me.
Looks like it might be peeking out, but I'm not sure that you can really get there with enough weight. The rock is underway. It looks like it's already on the guard. Oh, no, it's going to get by.
And it clipped to the guard. That guard had a lot of coverage there.
Yeah, and they also popped another yellow into the house. I don't think it's going to be too dangerous because there's a couple of red counters in the back. And on our sheet, that was almost a terrific roll there for red, but yellow is still counting 1. And I think they're going to need to get a guard up now.
A guard should pretty much lock up a steal 1, but considering the circumstances,
You might want to freeze it.
you might want to play the freeze.
Although I'm not sure that the freeze would outcount that red one now.
Yeah.
It'd be close.
If you come right to the nose, it'd be really close, and if you bumped it and rolled to the side and were definitely counting, you'd be exposed.
They're taking a look at it.
I don't know. Maybe the guard is the way to go here and take it one end at a time.
I think you might have to. You could just try it and keep your fingers crossed. If you freeze it, you've got a pretty good shot at stealing at least 1. But it looks like with that ice, they're probably just throwing the guard.
Looks like Raybo's trying to draw into the house for a second counting stone on sheet A.
Yep, it looks like it's just a draw for 2. Just needs to really just get close to the 4-foot. He doesn't even need to bite it.
Nope, just has to get a lot of white. Any red at all would be just fine.
Sweepers are working hard for this one, but it just...
They're on it.
Well, it looks like they're going to get it there. Oh, maybe not.
I think it looks pretty
Really
good.
hard, boys.
There you
And
go.
great sweeping.
And that's a deuce for Raybo. He's back in the match at 4-2.
Good rally there by Ray. Here comes the guard on sheet B. Got Danks and Geary working hard on this one. Looks like it's over curling a little bit.
You wouldn't know it by his age, but you can clearly tell by his hat that Zach Gary is a full-grown paperboy.
He was born in the 1920s.
Obviously a 1920s style paperboy. We're not talking about a drive-y-by, throw it at your house.
Oh, no.
We're talking about a street cornery, extra, read all about it type newsboy.
Absolutely. He may very well have sold the newspapers that announced the sinking of the Titanic in 1914, was it?
But he gets
1912?
into it. He gets into it. He reads the paper himself. He'll tell you on page 14 there's a very interesting article. Read all about it. Every morning he walks up and requests 100 papes.
He was also apparently the musical Newsies was written about him.
Yes, he was the inspiration for Newsies. Even though Newsies was written in old-timey times, the fact that there is a man in the 21st century acting as such was inspiration to make this musical happen. Shout out to Zach Gary for being the original old school 21st century newsie.
Long Island's going to, has nothing to lose here really, so they're going to try just a heavyweight draw and try to tap that yellow to the back four and hopefully out count it. They can afford to take some risks here with their 4-point lead.
I would say so.
And if they miss it, the worst thing they do is they give up one. So
I have still not won anything in this raffle. I promise, if I win anything liquor related, I'm drinking it tonight.
you also might want to turn your volume down just in case he does win. I hear that he shrieks like a very young girl when he wins the raffle.
She's not lying.
All right, here comes the Magic from Long Island.
That's right. Danny the Magic Stesky.
Sweepers are steering clear of this one. Looks like it needs to curl a bit, but it's not far off where it needs to be. I think some directional sweeping might be a good thing here.
I don't know if they're teaching that on Long Island yet.
And they just didn't quite take it far enough, so that's going to be a steal of one. It was pretty close. A little bit more curl, and that would have been a great shot.
Well, the deficit's down to 3 with 3 ends to play and no hammer, but the momentum has shifted, and hopefully we'll see an interesting finish here.
It was looking like this game was going to be over quick, but Philadelphia's hanging in there. Between the newsboy and the guy with the pants, they're providing an entertaining curling game.
And let's not forget our favorite hairy spooning ginger, Greg Danks.
There's also another guy on the team, but I guess we don't know much about him.
We know about his pants. They were actually an imprint from a Qbert board. Big 80s video game aficionado, that Arthur Willson.
So Ginger Danks is going to throw a guard here. I think we're going to be looking for another steal from Philadelphia.
They're going to be stealing all the way here. They might be able to squeeze a force in and then try to get the hammer back, but if I was them, I'd be looking steal, steal, steal.
Well, first his sweepers have to do him a favor and get this rock over the hog line, and they do. He's going to buy them a beer for that one after the game.
These Philadelphia guys definitely do bring hard sweeping to the table wherever they go. They put some effort into it.
Long Island's just going to draw behind that guard. It's not quite a center guard, so they can use it as almost a corner. On sheet A, we have red counting 2 with no guards in play, although they're about to throw one. And the Long Island sweepers are now going hard on this one. I'm not sure they're going to make the house, but they're at least going to try to get it over the hog line. And if you're trying to steal, this is starting off pretty well for you. So Philadelphia is just going to come right around here, probably put another guard up.
If I was Tim Klein, I would be itching for the time when I could take those stones out of play. Those guards are not a friend to Long Island right now.
A couple more rocks to go before he can do that, though, so see what happens. Danks is just going to try to get a guard a little closer to the house, I think, probably overlapped with 1 or 2 of those. And there go those Philly sweepers again. Worked hard for about 10 seconds, and then they came off it. This is looking really nice.
The curling cufflinks are up at the raffle.
Oh. Does anybody wear cufflinks anymore?
I have a lot of French cut shirts and do.
Oh. Did you put in for them?
I did not.
No.
There was no booze in them. If they came with a bottle of wine, I would have.
Long Island's going to try to draw into the house again. Things not setting up well for yellow on sheet A. It looks like they just drew through the house, or maybe that was a takeout, I'm not sure. But in any event, red sitting 2 with the hammer and a guard.
This looks like a pretty good draw on B for red. They're going to be in the house. They're going to be behind the guards.
Well done, Long Island. Yellow's going to put some more rocks out in front that they can maybe run back later.
I don't disagree with that. I don't hate a freeze here, quite frankly. You can see a little bit of the red stone. You don't necessarily want to be playing a hit game, but perhaps right down to it could be just what the doctor ordered. We'll see. If he's a little heavy, that might happen.
Could go right behind it, too. That's worked out pretty well for them last end. The sweepers are steering pretty clear of this one. It looks like they are going to come down to it and maybe even chip it sideways a little bit.
And we won a prize.
Hooray! It does not appear to be an alcoholic prize, surprisingly.
I have no idea what we won. My lovely lady squirreled it away promptly.
Whatever it was so desirable that she hid it so that no one could take it away from her.
It did not look like it had booze in it, though.
It didn't look large enough to be booze. Maybe it was the cufflinks.
No.
Hey, crazy.
I hear more celebrating.
A what?
We won a decanter.
A decanter. Well, it is booze-related item.
It didn't come with booze in it.
Do you really take the time to decant your wine before you drink it?
No, I didn't put any tickets in the decanter. My lady did, so she could, quote-unquote, put a flower in it at some point.
Oh. So it's not a decanter, it's a vase.
It will be now.
All right, so I'm not clear on what happened. It looks like Long Island's rock may be over-curled and came up a little light.
Yeah, it's in that pile of guards.
So I think that Philly is trying to draw behind that whole mess. But this is looking a little heavy.
Sweepers are off.
Not only off, but several feet away
They
from
are
it.
way off. TV's Tim Klein is getting ready to sweep it out the back. There he goes.
And out it goes.
And
We
it's
call
out.
that a courtesy sweep.
Yep.
On sheet A, boy, Ardsley really needs to get a rock in play there. Red is still counting 2 with the hammer. But they are behind the tee line, so that's a positive.
Well, here comes Quartz's delivery. I'm sure he'd like to freeze it to that red. And looks a little heavy, but we'll see where it ends up.
Needs to curl quite a bit, it looks like. Here it comes. Weight's coming off it. And just too heavy. Went right on by.
Same thing on sheet B. Similar draw attempted by Long Island and sailed right out the back.
So here comes Philly again. They're going to try this draw one more time, or possibly 2 or 3 more times. Zach the Assassin Gary is going to try to put a draw top 4.
Looks a little tight.
Sweepers are on and off it, or directionally sweeping it, one or the other.
They are now directionally sweeping to not crash the guards, but it looks like that is inevitable. And crash they did.
Well, that
Not
one's
a
going to
terrible
roll out
spot.
into the open.
Not a terrible spot, but not what they had in mind.
The good news for Philly is that there's all sorts of junk in front of the house, so if anyone ever gets a rock under there, it's not going to be taken out very easily, or at all.
Decanter. I told her not to waste tickets on the decanter.
Well, you're just going to have to decant your wine now.
It's a really small decanter. It literally is big enough just for like a flower.
Well, here's what you can do. Decant a little bit of the wine, drink the rest, and by the time you're ready, you'll have fully decanted wine.
How am I going to decant it when there's a flower in it?
You could tell her not to put a flower in it.
I tell her a lot of things. She barely listens.
Well, fair enough.
Here comes Tim Klein, looking to put one behind that pile of guards.
We have a whole 8 viewers who probably aren't listening either, so that makes you feel any better.
You'd be surprised how much they're listening to our every word.
I don't see any comments on the comment board, so.
Well, here's a fun fact about Tim Klein, who just delivered here. He's also known as TV's Tim Klein because he is the inventor of the martini and has a TV blurb where he describes his process of making the martini, drinking the martini, enjoying the martini. He's a smooth character.
Fun fact about my co-broadcaster, Mike Spencieri, he loves to make things up.
Google TV's Tim Klein and see what you find.
Oh, our producer is going to settle this dispute right now.
And it turns out I made that one up.
Not surprisingly. It always helps to have Google handy when Spencieri is telling you stories. All right, really hard sweep here from Philadelphia. And they just going to clip the guard. So there is a giant mess of rocks.
You know, Erin, the Italians didn't invent pasta, but they perfected it.
Is that
and
a
that's
fact?
what Tim Klein represents to me.
The perfection of pasta?
The perfection of the martini.
Ah. I've never actually seen him with a martini.
He hides it well.
All right, so red is still counting one, but there's an awful lot of yellow rocks right there in front of it. Looks like we're going to be seeing a hit of some sort. Perhaps a hit and roll under. And on sheet A, not much has changed. I'm not quite sure how many rocks have been thrown, but red is still sitting 2 behind the tee line with hammer.
Yes, Tim has come out with some weight here. He's looking to hit something.
Well, he's definitely going to make contact with a yellow rock.
That shot is just fine in my book.
And now yellow's going to have to find a way to get shot.
It's possible they could hit the yellow that's peeking out and do yellow, yellow, red, and be sitting at least 1 in that juncture.
It's interesting the way those yellows are lined up. I'm not sure that they can throw it hard enough to pop that red all the way out. It is also partially guarded. You could just draw around.
That's a tight port.
If you had no other choice, you could draw around the right side there. Try to get one under. Looks like they might be trying a little tick and roll under.
I'm not sure what they're trying with that ice.
I don't think you could get shot this way. I think you're just going to crash into that red that's counting.
I feel like they're trying to draw through that narrow port. Maybe bounce off the red and in, or bounce off the yellow and in.
Well, let's find out.
I'd like to come at that yellow with some serious weight and see what happens, but I guess we'll never find out.
I think I'd probably play the draw around the open side. It's tough. They probably don't know the ice out there, and it's probably pretty slow. So here comes a rocket.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Sweepers are on it. So they're just going to tick that. Oh, they ticked the top red, took out the shot rock, and it looks like yellow might be counting.
That's close. That was a very interesting result. I'm not sure if that's what they drew up, but they might have discussed that as a possibility. Their demeanor suggests it wasn't intended, but it certainly happened.
They do appear to be shot, and it looks like Long Island's going to try to tap their red up a little bit. Quite a bit of discussion from Long Island here.
And rightfully so. You know, they certainly are in an advantageous position, but they shouldn't take this situation lightly. A good shot here could help salt things away, but a couple of more mistakes and they might be in trouble.
Looks like they might be lining up the hit. Oh, they changed their minds. I guess you could hit that top yellow, take out the shot rock, and count one.
Danny Skeski, who throws skip rocks for the Long Island team, is actually Welsh in origin. He's played for the Welsh national curling team and is Welsh.
Does Welsh have a national curling team despite not being a nation?
This is actually something I did not make up. This is a fact.
Huh.
I don't know how much competition there is in Wales to be on the national team, but he was that and is quite an excellent curler indeed.
So it looks like they've decided to either draw or tap. Either shot could put them in a pretty good position. Still a couple rocks to play after this one. Looks like they called for the tap. Tim is standing behind the tappable stone, trying to call the line.
Looks like it's breaking pretty hard.
Looks like they are going to catch. No, they're going to go off the guard.
I think that
and
stone
off
looks
their
like
own.
That looks like number one to me.
It does look like they are first shot. Although yellow, all they have to do is tap, tap, I think, to. Well, they're going to play the double, it looks like. Or possibly the tap. Hard to say. Rock is on its way, and this is a takeout. So I guess they are going for the double. Going really hard, and it looks like that was a great sweep
right
there
in
by
the
Philly.
crotch. Yellow sits two.
Well done, well swept, well thrown.
Danny's going to have to make a cold draw here. He just needs to touch 8 foot, but I'd say I like his odds. The last shot that he threw was about the line and weight that he's going to need. If he can duplicate that result, Red will right this ship by getting there one here. But if he for some reason comes up short, crashes guards, we have a match here. It'll be 7-6 with 2 ends to go.
On sheet A, it looks like Red took 3, so it's 7-2 after 5. And the rock is underway. Sweepers seem okay with this one. Oh, they're going to go on it now, I think. I see some. They were thinking about sweeping it directionally and then changed their minds.
I think they got to make sure it gets there, and I don't think it's going to.
Well,
I think we have a drastically changed match here.
It is still going, and they are still sweeping. Looks like they cut yellow down, so a steal of 1.
Certainly not what they wanted, but a less bad result than a complete miss. So we're looking at a 7-5 game with 2 ends to go, and I would say a quite lively matchup.
A tenacious Philadelphia team, not intimidated by being down.
Our viewership has more than increased by 150% while I've been here, and we're up to a robust 13 viewers now.
I think the word has spread that Mike has joined us for this broadcast.
Well, unfortunately, to those 13 viewers, I am going to have to say goodnight as I need to prepare myself for my own match after this draw. But I'd like to introduce Seth Altman, who will be filling in as color commentator, and I'm sure it'll be a pleasure. So have a great night, fellows.
All right, good luck to Mike at his 10 o'clock game. In the sixth end here, we're going to see more of the same from Philadelphia. They're going to try to get the 2 guards up and try to bury a rock behind them and hope to steal one more. Good sweeping here from Philly. They're trying to keep this one straight. It is a little bit off the center line, but it's a guard, so they'll be able to work with it. Welcome, Seth.
Thanks, Aaron. How are you doing?
Good. So we thought we were going to have a blowout here on Sheet B, but Philadelphia has been clawing their way back.
It looks like that. It's an exciting game here in the 7th end.
7-5. They've been stealing and stealing, and
It's like Long Island's trying to hang on by the thinnest of margins here.
so they're going to, looks like, just draw into the open, which is not a bad idea. Oh, they're going to put up the corner guard. They're going to go for it this end.
So what do you think is the appropriate strategy at this point in time? Is it to go put rocks in the house or put up guards, play it normal, play it conservative? What would you do?
Well, at this point, they're down to a 2-point lead, and I think you do have to try to score this end. So putting up a corner guard's not a bad idea. I think they'll need to go after any guards that Philly puts up as soon as they can.
I'd imagine Tim would start calling for that after the Leeds finish their rocks.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
They were trying the past few ends to go behind the center guard, and it didn't seem to have worked out very well for them. So a little change of strategy isn't necessarily a bad idea. Here comes the second guard from Greg Danks. This one looks like it's taking a little bit of a wider path than the first one. Sweepers are working hard on it,
Scrubbing away.
trying to get it towards the center line.
It's getting there.
Looks like it's going to leave a pretty big port.
Good directional sweeping, though.
So
Pull
they
the
have
rock
guards
over.
to work with. They're not in great position.
Shout out to Liz Nystrom, who's now watching in Bermuda. Thanks for joining our broadcast.
Liz, go to the beach.
Why would you go to the beach when you have beautiful curling here in Ardsley, New York?
That is true. It's probably a lot of fun to watch an ice sport when you're sitting someplace warm.
Hopefully she's got an ice-cold beverage and enjoying herself down in the tropics. One of our 13 viewers at this point in time.
Liz, if you would like to come up here and watch curling, I'd be happy to trade places with you and go to Bermuda.
Ooh, very, very nice draw on its way. Hopefully that will sit.
It looks like it's going right through the
Yeah.
house.
No, and that's that strategy. You miss a couple of shots, all of a sudden, Philadelphia's back in the game.
Philly's going to try to get some more junk out in front, and then they're going to hope to get a red rock or yellow rock behind it at some point.
Just a quick look over in Sheet A. Looks like they're in the 8th end.
Yeah, a tough last end for Ardsley. They gave up 3, so they're going to have to try to claw their way back. They are
It's the 6th end. My apologies.
They are counting 1, and they've got a couple more rocks in play, so still got a shot for a big end.
Score in that sheet is 7-2 in favor of the Chicago rink.
This yellow rock is going to crash that guard, but that actually is not a bad result. They've got a center guard up now and a draw path on the right side.
And Tim is going to call for the peel, it looks like.
This is absolutely the right call. As long as he scores 1 this end, he'll still be in a pretty good spot.
Generally, the rule of thumb is with the hammer, keep the middle open, correct?
That is generally the rule of thumb.
There you go.
And that is going to go right on by. So another opportunity for Philly just to get a rock in the front. I think at this point, if you're Philly, it might be time to just get into the house.
Looks like that might be the call.
I thought I saw him tapping the free guard zone, but maybe he did want the draw. Sweepers are just walking this one down, and
Rocks away.
they don't think it's light. It's actually looking pretty good. They're going to sweep it now and try to get it around the guard and into the house.
That is going to be definitely in the house.
And I think they're just going to get it right to the 4 foot.
Yep, right on the center
That's
line.
a great shot. right behind cover. I think we're going to see another attempt at appeal here from Long Island.
Yep, Tim setting up.
So this Philly team does not give up.
No, no.
Here comes the peel again. This time they're going to sweep it, and it looks like it's probably going to over
It's a
curl.
little down weight. There is a port there.
It's
Nope.
going to go off the outside guard. So they did peel one of them. And Philly's going to try to put that right back and maybe even get a little closer to the center line with the next one.
And that's what the skip is calling for, right off the center line, coming in with the out turn.
On sheet A, yellow still got 3 rocks in play, and there's a red rock in the back 12 that's second shot, but shouldn't cause too many problems for them if they can just get rid of it.
Meanwhile, in the warm room, the raffle is just wrapping up, and it looks like Pippa Broadhurst has a huge array of alcohol on her table.
So everybody make friends with Pippa. Maybe she'll throw a party. Here comes the guard. It looks like it over curled, and this is going to be bad for Philly. That just opened up the
Yep.
front.
There's a direct hit down the middle.
Wide open hit here for Long Island. They can even roll behind the corner guard if they want.
Now, having seen Tim play for the last couple of years, this kind of shot he normally hits. So let's see what happens.
And on sheet A, Ardsley did remove that red rock, so now they are counting 3 with hammer. Good spot there for Ray.
For those of you out there watching, there is a 10 o'clock draw coming up. So don't turn us off after this one. Stick around for the 10 o'clock matches.
Are you sure they're still going to be on when we're finished with this broadcast?
I'm not sure.
I think Spencieri's fan club just disappeared.
Our membership has dropped a little bit.
We went from 13 to 9 as soon as he put down the microphone.
That's a little sad.
I'm not sure if it's just that they love him or that they just don't like you very much. So.
It's probably a combination of both. Meanwhile, Tim, back to the action on the ice. Tim has just hit and rolled slightly to the right, undercover.
That's a great shot by
Yep.
Tim.
Yep.
I think Philly has the choice of trying to run back one of those guards, or they can just try to draw in and outcount that red. Looks like they're going to try the draw. Oh, no. It
No,
looks
this
like
is
they're
like a
going to try
control hit, it looks like.
Looks like maybe a hack to control weight hit. Might be peeking out a little bit.
Stones away.
Sweepers are off it, so
Yeah,
it looks
they
like
seem
it's
to
by
like
the
it.
guard. Needs to curl a little. Oh, this is
Hanging out.
looking like a great
Oh,
shot.
it's looking beautiful. Right down to it. Little bit of a roll,
Yeah,
but
left it open. They could have swept that a little bit and tried to roll behind the other guard.
Yep. Looks like Tim is going to try to follow that shot down.
So they're going to trade hits here for a while, I think.
Even if Philly water steal, Tim would be in decent shape coming down with hammer in the 8th end.
Yeah, I think his objective is either to score one or to limit the steal of one.
Yeah.
The steal of 2 would be a pretty difficult position. Well, it would be an exciting game in the last end, though.
Well, from 7-1 after 3, absolutely.
Yeah. Looks here on sheet A that Ray has a hit to sit 4. Looks like he might just be drawing tap that back.
Call us a sweep. Robin
And
Tuck
this
is
is
curling a little bit.
On the guard.
Ooh.
So that's a tough spot, and it rolled into a pretty tough position because it's now guarding that rock that's in the house. So Philly has the option of trying to draw another one in here or just guarding up the front.
Ray crashed on the guard and rolled to the 12-foot.
So he does have 4 rocks and 4 or possibly 5 rocks in play, but that red rock is now going to probably be guarded, or even red might sit 2 here.
Looks like it. Ending as the vice for the Chicago rink, who curls out of Long Island and Ardsley, setting up for Aaron Horowitz's, looks like his second skip rock.
Looks like they're just going to call a draw. possibly a guard. They have a pretty big lead, so they don't need to worry too much. They just want to keep Ardsley from having a big end here. Philly looks like they might be drawing in here, which is actually a pretty good call, I think. There's not much risk to them.
Nope. There should be room to get around that guard on the left side of the sheet.
If you can get 2 rocks in there, it's going to be tough for Long Island to find a way to score. They're going to have to play a run back on their red. But let's see if the shot is made.
Some interesting pants on the skip for Philadelphia.
They are fantastic. Really hard sweep here from the Philly sweepers. This one is not curling much, but it looks like they're going hard just to get it in the house.
They like to wait.
No, I think it's just going to come up short.
Yep. Tends to get a bit frosty on the edges of the sheet as we move on in the match. So that one stuck.
So now Long Island has the option of playing that run and trying to eliminate that yellow stone, or they can just try to outdraw it down that same path. It's like they're opting for the run.
Over on A, it looks like there was a guard put up. The guard, the red stone.
It looks like Ray's trying to line up a run back here. Those yellows are angled so that I think if you hit it on the nose, the second yellow rock might just go back onto that red. That's what he's hoping anyway. I'm not 100% convinced, but we'll have to see what happens.
I'm not sure what's going to happen here.
It could. It looks like it might be lined up just right for him. Could also just shoot right on by, but we'll see what happens.
That is a tricky line out that far out, so we'll see what happens. Rocks away on B. Sweepers are on it. They're up. On the beak.
And great shot.
Great shot by Long Island to clean the house out.
So nothing in the house. We'll see another attempt at that draw from Philly. Unless they feel so bad about that path that they're just going to try for a tap.
That's a pretty big tap. That's a long
I think you have to play
tap.
the draw. They've seen the line now, so they know what they need to do.
Ray's shot did not do what they thought it did.
Looks like it.
Not quite sure what it did.
It must have popped another red into the house because it looks like
that's what it looks
a
like.
steal of 1.
Possibly 2. They're looking. Definitely 1. We'll have to wait and see. So Chicago will move to the 7th end with a substantial lead.
Looks like we're going to have handshakes on sheet A.
Yep.
So that's a win for Chicago. And surprisingly, this game here on sheet B will be the last one on the ice. It's not looking good after 2 ends, but it's turning into an exciting match now. And if the shot is made, it could be a really close one in the last end.
Rocks away. The sweepers are on it.
Going hard. I think they must think it's pretty frosty out here. And it looks like it's going to come up short again. Oh, maybe not. This is looking pretty good.
Going hard. Skip came out. Vices out, and it's in the house. And it looks...
It's in the 8-foot.
Yeah, pretty buried.
And under cover. So Long Island's going to have to find a way to outcount that. I think they're going to opt for the draw. They're going to have to go out there pretty wide. That rock curled in pretty well.
It did. There might be another path to get to it. If they come down the middle to the inside out and tap that out, there might be a way to get to the inside of that stone. But I think that's more difficult.
I think with the weight you have to throw, you might just roll off. And well, there's a possibility you could roll off and outcount it.
It wouldn't be fine. You blank the end. That's not fine. It's fine either. That's fine also. But they're looking at the outturn draw.
Yeah, I think it's pretty thoroughly buried. I'm not sure they have a shot to get at it, but we'll see. They're going to go way out here. The broom is all the way on the outside of the 12-foot.
It looks like they need about half of the 8-foot to outcount the Yellowstone.
Once you get way out here, boy, it's tough to get a draw to come back. They're thinking about trying to draw through this port in the middle now.
It looks like Tim's calling for a control hit here.
I think he might just be drawing through the middle.
You think?
I think they must be thinking they can get through that port and get to the forefoot. The opposing skip is coming up behind Tim to ask him what the call was. Unfortunately, it's a little noisy here in the warm room, so we can't hear the discussion.
Pretty interesting conversation, I would imagine. You're calling what?
I think they're just hoping that they can get between those two guards and hopefully get a piece of the forefoot.
That would make
Looks like
sense.
it's possible.
That would make sense.
Don't think you can get around that. Well, is it peeking out?
Rocks away.
Definitely looks like a draw.
That is definitely draw weight.
Sweepers are
Oh,
off
they
it.
got to go. They got to go. They go for line.
They're sweeping to
They gotta go
make
for
it
line.
curl. So they were trying the directional sweep, but I think they were sweeping on the wrong side. So that is going to be another steal for Philly.
So
They were sweeping on the side they were sweeping.
With
It's
the
just going to
curl.
make it curl more. So
that's correct. So it looks like Long Island's going to come home with hammer, up 1. Philly is chipped away, and let's see if they have one more steal on them to tie it up or possibly win.
yeah, Philly's got this steal strategy down cold now. Just get those guards up and get in behind it.
That's it.
Even if they don't win, they can be proud of themselves for clawing their way all the way back.
Yes, everyone's a winner here at the McKay-Douglas Bonspiel.
We do not hand out participation trophies, though.
No, that is true as well. But everyone has a good time.
But we do have $3 drafts, which is a rarity here at
Really?
Ardsley. You
Wow.
You've been here all day and you didn't know that?
I have not partaken. I saw the 11. Not sure what happened with that rock.
I'm
It
guessing
came
that
out
was a
of
pick.
Texas hand and it picked. Something happened.
That's unfortunate. That's going to make it a lot harder to steal.
But right across the hog line, something went wrong. Thanks to shrugging his shoulders.
There is no worse feeling than having a rock pick on you in an important end. Long Island, it looks like, is just going to put this through the house. They don't want any rocks in the front.
That's an interesting strategy. Normally you see that when you're ahead by 3 or 4 stones, but up by 1.
Well, with nothing in play, I think if Philly had gotten that guard up, maybe you play into the house. But since there's nothing in play, why add to the junk?
Keep it clean. That's always simple.
Stanks is going to try this one again.
Delivery is much better. He thinks it's a little heavy.
The sweepers seem to agree with him. They're not on it at all. Just walking it down. It's like this might be in the house.
Hoping it stops. And it travels into the house. Right down to the button.
So Long Island's going to hit.
Up the forefoot. Yep. If Long Island makes their shots here on out, this should be a relatively simple end, but you never know.
These are club curlers.
Rocks away, sweepers are on it.
Getting a really hard sweep here.
That rock is curling.
And that's a
Dan
nice
makes
shot
the
there
hit.
by Dan.
Yep, and rolls to the edge of almost out of the 8-foot.
So I think if you're Philly, you're going to ignore that one. Try to get something up in front.
Yep. Arthur Wilson's calling for the guard.
And here comes that guard. Sweepers are just walking this one down. And it looks like it's going sideways.
Yeah, Zach and Greg seem to like the weight.
It's going to over curl, and it looks like it might just stop short of the house. So it's a pretty good guard. Long Island's just going to try to peel it.
Really quick shout out to Dan Tafaro, who's both nipped and pebbled at the same time, it looks like. So thank you, Dan, for taking care of the ice.
When you said that, I thought I was going to see him with the pebbler in one hand and the nipper in the other, but it looks like he did not try to do them simultaneously.
Not simultaneously, that's true. He'll be playing tomorrow in the A finals. 1 o'clock, I believe.
Here comes the peel attempt. Just a light clean here. So the peel is made, but that rock is going to roll to the center line, so that's not ideal.
Wilson's calling for another guard right on the center line on top of it.
He's just going to try to put as much junk as he can in front and hope he's got something to draw behind when it gets a little bit later in the end.
Here's the rock by Rich Hess, the second on Team Philadelphia.
Sweepers are not in a hurry to go on this one. It looks like it's going to come up as a guard. It might be a little bit heavy.
That might tap the guard, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy. Let's see. Just tapped it, not quite biting. So.
But what it does do is give the opportunity to run that back and get rid of it, to peel it out a little bit. Tim has options to get rid of that yellow guard.
Yeah, I think what Philly is hoping here is that Long Island will peel one of the guards, but not both of them. And there will be something left for them to use when they get down to Skip's rocks.
Nice. Tim called for the sweepers to sweep.
Yeah, it just looks like a light clean to me.
Right on the nose.
So we got more junk out in front, which is pretty good for Philly. We're going to see another guard. And if they can get a guard up and then get something buried in there, they could be in a good position to tie this one. Here comes Zach Gary.
Then it's everyone's favorite thing, bonus curling before the 10 o'clock draw.
They get to listen to us even longer.
Drone on.
And this one looks like it's got pretty good weight.
It's going to be a high guard, probably a one guard. Yeah, it's like a one guard, maybe a two.
This looks like it's going to end up in a really good spot. So nice throw by Zach.
All right, so if you're Tim here, if you're Team Long Island, what's the call?
I think you got to try for the double peel. You got to at least get rid of one of them. If you can get rid of two, that's great. It looks like they're just going to try to get one. And then it's up to Philadelphia to decide at what point do they want to come into the house.
Well, they got, 3 rocks left. It looks like they're going to have to start doing that probably on the next stone, I would imagine.
You might see them wait until Skip's rocks. It depends a lot on what happens here. If there are 3 rocks out in front, then it might be time to come in. If there's only one, I think we'll see them throw another guard.
It's Tim Klein coming out of the hack.
Here comes the peel. Sweepers are on and off, so.
They're sweeping hard. They're going hard.
And it's going to just get the top one. So you could come in now if you're Philly, or you might just put that guard back and hope for a better situation. I think this is the last time we'll see them guard, though.
There's a rock by Zach Urey.
Well, sweepers like this one. It looks like they're going to have to go a little bit to make sure it's over.
That's a good
they're
sweep.
over. And they're just going to let that settle in. It looks like it is going to tick that
bump.
red. So now you've got a whole bunch of rocks out in front. The only problem with that one is it cut down the draw path a little bit, but not too badly.
So if you're Team Long Island here, do you peel again? Or do you think about coming in? Why not come in?
I don't think you need to come in. You've already got a rock in the house, and Philly's not going to chase it at all. So I think you just want to open up the front as much as possible. If you can get 2 of these, you're in a great position. You have Bucks County's going to have to draw behind your own red, and you'll have it at a minimum a run back. I keep calling them Bucks County, but they are Philadelphia.
Well, at least 2 of the gentlemen do curl out of Bucks County.
Here comes the peel. I think they're going to try for the double peel here.
Pretty good weight.
No sweeping just yet, and now they're on it.
Sweepers are on it. Looks like it's on the nose.
And that's a great shot.
Nice shot.
Double peel
Sweep,
from Tim.
keep it out.
And now I think you have to come in, but no, I guess not.
Well, Philly's trying to figure out
They're
which way to
looking
go.
at which way to come.
Yeah.
Looks like they don't like the middle, so they're going to come around the outside. Good thing about coming down here is if you're a little wide or a little heavy, you might be able to freeze to that red. But the idea is to just come into the 4-foot behind the red guard that's out in front.
These kind of shots are why the skips get the big bucks. These are the pressure shots. Super difficult, especially in the 8th end.
These kinds of shots are why some of us don't like to skip.
I very much agreed. Absolutely true.
All right, so some discussion going on here. They've changed their minds about which...
I heard draw weight.
I don't know why you would play the hit. You have to steal here, so that red rock is pretty much irrelevant.
I think they're going to draw.
Yeah.
And for the 2 of you who just left recently, have a good night. We're down to 7 viewers.
Well, they left, so they can't hear you.
Was it something we said?
Probably. They may have been watching the game on sheet A.
That is true.
And clearly we were not entertaining enough to keep them in even after that game ended. So this is not a draw.
It looks like a hit.
This is a hit, which is really surprising, and it's all over the guard. So I'm not sure
That's
what the call was
Yeah.
there, but I think Long Island has the option now of hitting again or just drawing to sit 2. And they have the hammer, so all sorts of options are just going to
I think Tim wants the skip to peel the red guard. Keep things as open as possible.
And if the peel is made perfectly, so both rocks would go out of play, all that Philly will be left with is a freeze on that red rock that's in the house.
Yep.
So I'm not sure why they called that.
It didn't look like they were on the same page there because the skip came down. Willson came down to talk about the shot, so I'm not sure they were on the same page.
Yeah, like I said, you're trying to steal. You've got to get a rock under cover, and that red rock that's over there in the 8-foot is not important at all.
All right. So the first Long Island rock is away. Sweepers are on it. No, one of the sweepers are on it.
Now they're off. Looks like they're just cleaning.
Yep.
And
Looks
a
like a
little
peel.
roll. So that's sort of a half shot because
Okay.
now if that freeze is made, it's going to be under cover. And that'll leave a draw to the 4-foot.
So this is the last rock for the Philadelphia rink.
Yeah, I think they have no choice. They've got to try to freeze to that red.
Yep. We will run Sheet A and Sheet C. The 10 o'clock draws have begun. Sheet A has an all Ardsley competition.
So here comes the draw. The tough thing for Philly is that they haven't really drawn down this line.
That is true.
So now they're going to have a conversation.
I think over on C, it's Philadelphia versus Stevens Point.
All right, so the conversation, whatever it was about, is over.
So Arthur Willson has to freeze this red stone, or the game is not over, but very, very difficult.
Well, he has to outcount the red, certainly. Otherwise,
Yes.
the game is over. So he needs to, at a minimum, bite the forfeit. Sweepers
Yelling at the line. The sweepers are off it.
not showing a lot of interest in this
Calling
one.
line. Uh-oh.
And it looks like they lost
Uh-oh.
the line,
And it
and that is
crashed.
going to be game over.
And that would be the game.
So
Valiant
that
effort. Valiant effort by the Philadelphia Rank to come back. 4
And-
steals in a row.
Congratulations to Long Island
That's
for
right. Moving
a
on.
big win. We have everybody else has stopped watching, so
I mean, we're down to 1 viewer.
and the 10 o'clock draw will be without commentary, so you can feel free to sign back in.
Yes. Thanks, Aaron. It was a pleasure chatting with you for this last match.
Thanks, Seth.
Have a good night.